Hi, it's Jim Ott with the Marian Homeschool Assistance Program Student Council. I'm a faculty advisor, a school psychologist working more than 30 years in a variety of schools in eastern Iowa. What a treat it's been to work with the kids this year. In the fall, they formed this group with a goal of building connections among the kids and helping families and kids work on mental health challenges that are just a part of our culture today. As things go faster and faster and there's more and more information, we all find ourselves kind of struggling with a lot of mental health issues. And so when the COVID quarantine came along, we weren't able to do that in person, so we're doing videos. And I hope that these videos are useful to you in addressing some things that maybe you and your families are facing. In this video, I want to show a mental model about where our mental health challenges come from. You know, if our lives were perfect in every way and nothing ever happened, we would have very few mental health challenges because we would never worry about what was going to happen next because everything would be perfect. It's in the imperfections of life that we find ourselves dealing with what we perceive as negative emotions. And they're negative in the sense that we don't want them, but they're actually useful emotions that help us solve problems. How we deal with those emotions becomes mental health. Are we mentally healthy as we deal with the imperfect life that we live in? And do we find ways to grow stronger in our emotional makeup, in our mental health makeup, as we face challenges? This picture is useful to understand why all people have to deal with this. It starts at a very young age because nobody's living a perfect life. Nobody has perfect parents. Nobody is a perfect kid. And just want to lay that out there. You didn't have perfect parents. You're not a perfect parent. And here's a little hint. It's enough to be good enough. It's enough to be there and do the best that you can. You don't have to be perfect. None of us are perfect. But in our imperfections, we encounter stress and we encounter insecurities. This picture helps to understand that, and I hope it'll help you and give you some language or some concepts to help you as you deal with issues that you're facing maybe in the quarantine and others as well. So this picture starts with this. Everybody knows what it's like to be in a place and say, you know what, it's not supposed to be this way. Like life is not supposed to be this. Really extreme cases are obvious, but just day to day, there can be this nagging sense that life isn't quite the way that it's supposed to be. What's weird about it is that as human beings, and everybody knows this feeling, we are as human universally appealing to a way it's supposed to be. We actually believe there is a place, there is a way, there is a circumstance that is the way it's supposed to be. Occasionally we have moments where we experience life as kind of okay. But for the most part, where there's either a nagging sense or a specific thing that says it's not supposed to be this way. The gap between the way it's supposed to be and the way things we actually experience is a gap in which our negative emotions take place. It's where we experience some of the things that are hard for us to deal with. Now, the way we draw this is that in this gap, there are three piles. Now, I'll be gentle, but there are three piles of crap. Like life deals us a whole bunch of things that are hard for us to deal with. The crap, if you allow me to say it, comes in three categories. There's a pile that basically is what life gives us. Things happen in life over which we have no control and there is no explanation. For example, the COVID quarantine, the COVID crisis, the COVID virus that's gone around the world and shut down the entire world. All right, some people are going to say the Chinese did it, whatever. But the reality is, for those of us here, we didn't have any control over that. It just happened. And in this category of life are things like disease and earthquake and natural disasters, all the kinds of things that you can't really blame any specific person for. Now, the problem with this pile is that because you can't blame any specific person, you can end up thinking that life, or in some place, in some people's conversations, that life or God, they just kind of, well, I don't know how else to say it. They kind of suck. Like life just kind of sucks. And it's really, really hard to explain why it is that things are happening. In spiritual conversations, people will say, I don't understand how God could be there if this would happen. This is a pile that we all have to deal with. The second pile is other people. We have to be in relationship with other people. And here's what we know about our relationships with people. We want them, we love them, we care about them. Sometimes they drive us nuts. All right, so not only is life challenging, but our relationships with other people are challenging. And so we have this pile of crap that's given us by other people. For some people, that's much more severe than others. If your own childhood has any kind of trauma, you will understand what it's like to deal with a pile of crap that you didn't put in your life. But we all put little bits of this into each other's lives because of our own inability to be completely selfless. We end up putting piles into other people's lives. Then the last pile, which everyone has to deal with, is we all have our own self. We all have things that we do that we don't even understand that make our lives challenging. So there are 3 piles of crap. There's life. Life is hard. Life kind of sucks. People are, I love them. I care about them so much, but sometimes people kind of suck. And then I look in the mirror and I say, even on my best day, I'm not sure I'm all that great either. The problem with these piles is that all of them kind of stink. These piles give off emotions that are uncomfortable for us. So that these feelings that we have that we don't necessarily want come out of these piles. Now, the good news is these negative feelings are the things that can motivate us to make changes. So these feelings particular are related to the stages of grief. And I did another video on that. Go look at that if you want more details on that. But there are things like anger and anxiety and sadness and guilt all happen because of these piles. Mental health becomes the story that we tell ourselves to explain the gap. How do we tell ourselves a story about how to explain the gap? And then what strategies will we use to deal with it? That's mental health in a picture. Now, there is a lot more to say about all of this. In future videos, I'm going to address what does it mean to explain the gap and how do kids do that? How do we deal with each of these 3 piles in a way that is more healthy? Because we can't get rid of the piles. There's no way to live a life where life, people, and yourself don't cause problems for yourself. But how do we deal with them in a way that makes us healthy? How do we embrace these negative feelings as opportunities for growth instead of seeing them as burdens to bear and actually things that can drag us down? So I hope this picture is useful to you. We're going to be coming back to this picture in future videos. If we can do anything else for you, specific the questions that you have, please contact us. We'd love to do some videos that address specific questions that people have. You can contact the Marian Homeschool Assistance Program and tell them you're interested in having a video done, or you can contact me directly through the email that's in the notes for this video. So have a good day, and I'll look forward to seeing you in future videos.